April 30th, 1975, end of Vietnam War. The city of Saigon, once the capital of South Vietnam, is gripped by chaos and uncertainty. Helicopters thunder overhead, carrying out the final evacuations. Crowds fill the streets, fearing the unknown as North Vietnamese tanks rolled toward the presidential palace. For the soldiers of the Army of the Republic of Vietnam, the ARVN, it is a moment of profound heartbreak. After years of sacrifice, the nation they fought for is collapsing before their eyes.
In the final months of the war, the ARVN, once a million-strong force, faces a rapid unraveling. Exhaustion, dwindling supplies, and collapsing command structures push soldiers into impossible situations. Many units, isolated and overwhelmed, retreat under pressure. Others simply dissolve, their ranks scattered by the confusion and despair of the moment. When Saigon finally surrenders, the ARVN doesn't fade away. It disappears almost instantly. Soldiers shed their uniforms, burn documents, and slip into civilian clothing. Others obey orders to surrender peacefully, not knowing what the future will hold. Overnight, an entire army ceases to exist. The new government announces a sweeping plan. All former South Vietnamese military personnel are instructed to report for re-education, a process described as brief ideological training designed to reintegrate them into society. Many soldiers, hoping for leniency, willingly report to local stations. They bring minimal belongings, expecting to return home within days. But the reality is very different. Hundreds of thousands are transported to remote camps scattered across the mountains, jungles, and border regions of the country. For many, the journey marks the beginning of years of forced labor and indoctrination. Life inside the re-education camps is harsh and unrelenting. Days begin before sunrise. Former officers, pilots, and civil servants now cut bamboo, clear forests, dig canals, and carry heavy loads across long distances. Food is often scarce, little more than thin rice porridge or cassava. Illness spreads easily, and medicine is limited. Letters from family are infrequent, and visits, when allowed, require long journeys. Political indoctrination sessions are held regularly. Prisoners must write detailed confessions of their crimes, attend hours of lectures, and memorize ideological teachings. Those who resist or who fall behind in labor may face extended detention or punishment. Some men remain in these camps for several months. Others stay for years, 5, 10, even more. For families on the outside, life becomes a cycle of waiting, hoping, and enduring economic hardship while a husband, father, or son remains behind barbed wire. When prisoners are finally released, the struggle does not end. Former ARVN soldiers return to a society transformed by war and political change. Their past military service marks them with a stigma that follows them for decades. Employment opportunities are limited. Many skilled officers who once commanded battalions now work as farmers, laborers, or street vendors. Their movement is restricted by local authorities. Their children often face difficulties entering universities or obtaining desirable jobs. Rebuilding a sense of normal life proves challenging. Under constant oversight, many families live cautiously, focusing on survival rather than aspiration. For many former soldiers, the hope of a better future lies far beyond Vietnam's borders. In the late 1970s and 1980s, thousands of families choose the perilous route of escape by sea. They become part of the mass exodus known as the Boat People. Crowded into small wooden vessels, they face storms, hunger, and mechanical breakdowns. Pirates patrol the South China Sea, attacking vulnerable boats. For many, the escape ends in tragedy. But for others, after days or weeks at sea, distant lights appear, the refugee camps of Southeast Asia. These camps become temporary homes for countless Vietnamese fleeing hardship. Families live in cramped shelters, waiting for interviews, clearance, and the hope of resettlement. As the refugee crisis intensifies, global pressure mounts. In response, the United Nations and Vietnam establish the Orderly Departure Program, a safer, organized system allowing people to leave without risking their lives at sea. Former ARVN officers, especially those imprisoned after the war, form one of the largest groups eligible for departure. Over the following years, hundreds of thousands resettle abroad. The United States accepts the most, honoring its wartime connections and moral responsibility. Canada, Australia, France, and other nations open their doors as well. Resettlement marks the start of a new chapter. Former ARVN soldiers, scattered across continents, begin life from zero. Many work long hours in factories, restaurants, or service jobs. Their English is limited, their savings are non-existent. Yet, driven by determination, they rebuild their families' futures brick by brick. Vietnamese communities grow, the vibrant neighborhoods known as Little Saigon and others across North America, Europe, and Australia. Cultural traditions, memories, and stories of the war are preserved through community centers, temples, and veterans associations. A new generation grows up with opportunities their parents once never dreamed of. University degrees, stable careers, and lives shaped not by war, but by education and peace. Yet many former ARVN soldiers never left Vietnam. They remain in their homeland, living quiet, modest lives. Over time, economic reforms help improve conditions. Restrictions become less severe. But the memories of the past linger, sometimes spoken, often unspoken. These men carry a complex legacy: loyalty to a vanished nation, years of hardship, and the resilience to continue on in a Vietnam that has transformed dramatically since 1975. The fate of the ARVN after 1975 is a vast, deeply human story. It is a story of sudden loss, long imprisonment, dangerous escape, and the daunting task of rebuilding lives far from home. It is also a story of courage, quiet, persistent courage that carried families across oceans and through decades of hardship. Though South Vietnam no longer exists, the legacy of its soldiers lives on, in the memories of their families, in communities across the world, and in the generations who continue to honor their sacrifices.